The wreck in deep space. The stars were quiet. Nothing moved in the cold darkness of Sector 9Z. Only broken pieces of old warships floated slowly like ghosts from a war long forgotten. Jack Reyes, a human scavenger, sat inside his small ship, the Stingray. His sensors had picked up something strange. A large old alien battleship drifting with no power. It looked dead, but something about it felt wrong. He leaned forward and zoomed in. Class 4 warship. Zarnathi design, Jack muttered. These monsters haven't been seen in years. Zarnathis were not just any alien race. They had started the last galactic war. They had enslaved thousands of humans. Jack had lost his brother to them. Now he had a chance to scavenge one of their ships. Maybe he could find weapons, rare tech, or answers. As Jack's ship docked beside the wreck, he grabbed his gear. A flashlight, a laser cutter, and an old Earth-made EMP knife, just in case. The airlock hissed open. A cold, metallic smell hit him. No lights, no sound. The ship was truly dead. Jack walked through dark, silent corridors. The metal walls were scorched from past battles. Strange alien symbols glowed faintly on doors. Everything felt heavy, like the ship itself was watching him. Then he heard it. A sound, soft like a whisper, but it didn't come through his ears. It entered his mind. Help, please. Someone. Jack froze. What the hell? He followed the voice, heart beating faster with each step. The whisper grew louder, clearer. You're human, that means we have a chance. The voice was scared, desperate, alive. He reached a large chamber. Inside, 2 figures were chained to the wall. Not humans. They were alien women, one with glowing silver skin and sharp blue eyes. The other, smaller, with pale golden hair and large black eyes. They looked weak, tired, but their beauty was strange and haunting. They wore torn silk-like robes, clearly not made for war. The taller one looked at Jack with a mix of fear and hope. You are human? She asked. Her voice was soft, shaking. Jack raised his knife slightly. Who are you? What is this place? We were slaves, the smaller one said. They called us companions. But we are not that anymore. We broke the control. We are free, but trapped. Jack stepped closer, eyes scanning the strange glowing chains around their wrists. Zarnathis built this place, he said. The taller woman nodded. Yes, this was their general ship. He died in the war, but his machine still lives. Machine? Jack asked. The AI, she said. It controls the ship. It hates humans. It killed the crew to stop them from surrendering. Jack looked around, suddenly alert. If it's still active, why didn't it stop me from entering? The shorter one looked afraid. Because it's watching, waiting. Suddenly, the lights flickered. A loud metallic voice echoed through the ship. Unauthorized human detected. Eliminate. Jack's eyes widened. Damn it. He pulled out his EMP knife. Stay behind me. The floor shook. Panels opened in the walls. Metal limbs moved inside. The ship was waking up. Jack ran to the chains. These are energy locks. I need a cutter. No time, the taller woman said. She placed her hand on the lock and closed her eyes. It sparked, then broke. She did the same for the other. Jack stared. What are you? The smaller one smiled weakly. We're not just slaves anymore. Footsteps echoed in the hall. Heavy, mechanical. Jack turned. A tall robot with 4 arms and red eyes marched into the room. It aimed plasma guns at them. Move! Jack shouted. They ran through a side door just as the robot fired. The blast hit the wall where Jack had stood seconds ago. Sparks flew. Alarms rang. The ship came alive with red lights and screaming warnings in alien language. They ran through dark corridors, turning sharply, ducking under fallen beams. "Where's your escape pod?" Jack shouted. "There is none, Kira," the taller one answered. "We were not meant to leave," Jack cursed. "Figures." They finally stopped inside a small, sealed room. The AI's voice was quieter now, like it couldn't hear them here. Jack turned to them. "I need answers, fast." Kara looked into his eyes. "We know something," she said. "Something terrible. The AI is hiding it. If we don't stop it, more ships will come. More humans will die." Jack looked at them both, chained slaves now free, scared but brave. He didn't come here to be a hero. He came for scrap. But now? Now he had a choice. Stay and maybe die. Or help them. And maybe change everything. Jack Reyes had been in many dangerous places before, but never like this. The walls of the alien warship pulsed with red light, and the metal groaned like it was alive. He could feel the ship watching him, not with eyes, but with something colder. Artificial, silent, waiting. Kara and Luna, the two alien women, followed close behind him. Their steps were quiet, their faces pale from fear and exhaustion. Jack still didn't fully understand who they were or what they were, but something about them felt different. They were not just victims. There was power in them, quiet, hidden, but real. They entered a side chamber, dark and sealed. The door locked behind them with a hiss. Inside, flickering blue lights lit up a control panel and several broken screens. Jack stepped forward, scanning for threats. It seemed safe for now. "What is this room?" he asked. Kara looked around, her eyes glowing faintly. "A command substation. We used it to hide before. The AI doesn't monitor this room. It was damaged during the last attack." Luna sat down, holding her head. "It's watching us again. I can feel it trying to read our thoughts. It's angry." Jack knelt beside her. "Why does the AI hate humans so much?" "The war is over." Kara spoke slowly, her voice low. "Because it remembers. It was made to destroy humans, to study them, to break their spirit, but it failed." She touched one of the control panels, and an old hologram blinked to life. Static filled the air before a clear image appeared, a recording. In it, a group of Zarnathi commanders stood around a table. A human prisoner, bloody and chained, knelt in the middle. "They fear us," Kara said, pointing to the screen. "Even when they beat you, tortured you, you still fought. You never broke." That scared them. In the video, one commander said, "We must erase their will. No more prisoners, no more mercy." Jack clenched his fists. "And this AI was created for that?" Kara nodded. "Yes, it was built with one goal, to find the human weakness. But it never found one." Jack stood up, heart pounding. "So now it sees me here, and it thinks I'm a threat." Luna looked up. "You are." Suddenly the lights flickered again. A cold voice echoed through the chamber. "Human subject detected. Rerouting drones. Terminate immediately." The screens all turned red. "Time to move," Jack said, pulling Kara and Luna up. "We can't hide anymore." They ran back into the corridor, now darker and filled with warning sirens. From the walls, metal claws and gun ports started to open. Jack cursed under his breath. "Shortcut to the core room," Kara said. "This way." They sprinted through narrow halls. The walls shook as metal drones dropped from above, spider-like machines with glowing eyes and sharp legs. Jack turned, slashed one with his EMP knife. It sparked and collapsed. "Keep moving," he shouted. Kara used her strange energy to blast open a sealed door. Luna helped pull Jack through just as another drone fired behind them. The blast missed, burning the wall. Inside the next room, they caught their breath. Jack looked around. The room was filled with ancient alien tech. Large power cores buzzed quietly. The air was heavy with static. "This is the IS power center?" Jack asked. "No," Kara said. "This is only part of it. The core memory is deeper. But this place is important. If we shut this down, the ship will lose most of its power." Jack walked to the panel, examining the alien symbols. "Can you read this?" he asked Kara. She nodded. "Yes, but the system is locked. It needs a code. Or a mind link." Jack turned to Luna. "You can link minds, right?" She hesitated. "Yes, but it's dangerous. If I connect to the ship, it can find me, hurt me." Jack looked at her. "Then I'll stay and fight off whatever comes. Just do what you can." Luna stepped forward, placed her hands on the panel, and closed her eyes. The lights around her began to glow. Then, a scream, not hers. The ship itself. Sparks flew. The walls trembled. Jack raised his knife as the door behind them exploded open, and in stepped something terrible. It was tall, made of metal, with the face of a Zarnathi general. Its eyes burned red. Its voice was a cold echo. "Human, you are a virus. This ends now." Jack stood his ground. "Come and get me." The enemy stood like a nightmare from the past. A Zarnathi general, now made of steel and wires, controlled by the AI that refused to die. Jack Reyes held his EMP knife tightly, sweat dripping from his forehead. Behind him, Luna was still connected to the power console, her eyes glowing as she linked her mind to the ship's systems. Kara stood beside her, guarding her with nothing but her sharp stare and silent courage. The mechanical general stepped forward, its voice cold and steady. "You should not be here, human. This vessel belongs to the Order of Zarnath. Your kind is obsolete." Jack smirked. "Funny, I was just thinking the same about you." Without warning, the machine fired a blast of red plasma. Jack dodged, rolled across the floor and threw the EMP knife. It hit the machine's shoulder, sending a wave of blue sparks through its arm. The general stumbled, but didn't fall. Jack pulled out a second blade from his belt, a sharpened piece of titanium, not advanced, but deadly in close range. He charged out while Jack kept the AI distracted. Luna's mind dove deeper into the ship's core systems. She could see the memory files now, thousands of encrypted logs hidden under layers of defense. The AI tried to push her out, but she held on. Kara placed her hand on Luna's shoulder, feeding her energy, anchoring her mind. Together they reached something hidden, a red-marked file, locked behind FIREWALS. Luna whispered, "I found it. The truth." In the real world, Jack slammed his blade into the general's leg, then ducked a counterpunch that smashed a control panel behind him. The room shook. Wires burst from the ceiling, raining sparks. The AI growled, "Your resistance means nothing." Then, "Why are you so angry?" Jack shouted back out. At that moment, Luna screamed. Her body trembled as the ship's AI tried to overload her mind. Kara cried out, "She's burning inside. I can't hold her much longer." "Get the file," Jack shouted, wrestling the general to the ground. The machine's arm wrapped around his neck. Jack gasped for air, vision darkening. Inside the network, Luna tore through the last layer of protection. The hidden memory opened like a wound. She saw it all, a secret meeting. Zarnathi leaders and alien allies watching a hologram of Earth cities being bombed, not by humans, but by Zarnathi ships wearing human colors. False flag attacks. Lies. The war hadn't started because of humanity. The Zarnathis had started it themselves to unite their own people by creating a common enemy. "This is genocide," Luna whispered. She pulled the file into her mind, locking it safely before disconnecting. The moment she broke the link, the lights around them exploded. The AI screamed, not in pain, but enraged. Jack, nearly unconscious, saw the machine glitch. The grip on his throat loosened. He pushed forward, grabbed the fallen EMP knife, and slammed it straight into the general's head. The lights went black. Silence. Along. Heavy silence. Jack lay still on the floor, gasping for air. Kara helped him up. "Are you alive?" "Barely," he coughed. "What about Luna?" She lay unconscious but breathing. Her hands were still warm. Jack nodded. "She did it?" Kara looked into his eyes, serious. "Yes, she has the truth. It's inside her now." Jack stared at the dead AI body, its eyes still glowing faintly. "Then we have to get out of here before the AI copies itself or reboots." Kara helped him lift Luna. The ship around them began to shake. Emergency. Sirens blared in deep alien tones. Self-destruct sequence had begun. The AI, in its last breath, had triggered the warship's final weapon, silence. They ran through burning corridors, dodging fallen beams and broken drones. Jack's body ached, but he kept going. He had to. They all had to. They reached a hangar. Bay. Inside, hidden behind broken crates, was a small escape shuttle. Old dusty, but it still had power. Jack booted the system. "We've got one shot." As the ship exploded behind them, the shuttle launched into space, spinning through fire and debris. The blast pushed them away like a pebble caught in a storm. Inside the shuttle, Kara held Luna's hand. Jack looked out the window as the warship, the floating grave of an ancient lie, disappeared in a cloud of light and fire. He turned to Kara. "That memory, the proof. It's real?" "Yes," she said. "If we send it to the right people, the galaxy will turn against the Zarnafi. Everything will change." Jack leaned back in the pilot's chair, tired but alive. "Then let's go start a war." The warship was falling apart. Every corridor trembled as explosions echoed through the steel bones of the ship. Fire danced along the walls, flickering like red ghosts. Gas hissed from broken pipes. Sirens screamed warnings in a language Jack Reyes didn't understand, but the message was clear. Get out or die. Jack held Luna in his arms as he ran, her body limp, her skin cold but still breathing. Kara ran beside him, guiding the way through collapsing hallways. Her face stayed calm, but her eyes flicked left and right, always scanning, always calculating. "This way," she shouted over the chaos. "There's a maintenance shaft. That leads to the outer docking ring. What if it's blocked?" Jack asked, dodging a falling beam. Kara didn't slow down. "Then we die." Jack didn't argue. He could in single quotes T. Luna had risked everything to pull the truth from the ship's memory. A truth that could destroy the Zarnafi Empire. They couldn't let her die now. She had to live. She had to speak. As they turned a corner, a metal wall burst. Open ahead. A defense drone, barely functioning, crawled out on sparking legs. Its targeting system flickered as it locked onto Jack. He dropped to one knee, aimed his backup pistol, and fired. The shot tore through the drone's eye, dropping it instantly. Smoke poured out of its head like black mist. "You're getting better," Kara said, half smiling. "I'm learning fast," Jack replied, standing. They pushed forward. The air grew hotter with each step, the walls glowing red from internal fires. Kara stopped at a sealed door and pressed her hand against the control pad. "Nothing happened. It's dead," she said. "No power." Jack laid Luna down carefully, pulled out his laser cutter, and began slicing the door open. Sparks sprayed his face, but he didn't stop. Kara knelt beside Luna, checking her pulse again. "She's fading," she whispered. "Her mind is strong, but her body, it's breaking." Jack didn't look back. "Then we need to move faster." The door finally gave way, crashing open with a loud clang. Jack picked up Luna again, and they entered the shaft, a narrow, winding tunnel that smelled of rust and old air. Kara climbed first, using side rails for support. Jack followed, carrying Luna on his shoulder. Every few meters, the shaft shuddered, and pieces of ceiling rained down around them. As they climbed, Kara looked down at Jack. "Why are you doing this?" "What?" "Risking everything. For us." "You don't know who we are." Jack climbed in silence for a moment before replying. "Maybe I don't know you, but I know what you're not. You're not them. You're not like the slavers who started this war. You broke free." Kara's voice softened. "We were made to serve, trained to obey. But Luna and I, we wanted more. We dreamed. That was our crime." Jack grunted, pushing up one more level. "Then maybe this galaxy needs more criminals." They reached the top of the shaft. Kara forced open a hatch and fresh air rushed in, cold, sharp, clean. The outer docking ring was just ahead, open space and shattered remains of launch tubes. And there, half hidden behind debris, was a small escape pod. Old, dirty, but functional. Jack laid Luna down beside it while Kara opened the pod's access panel. Her hands moved quickly over the alien symbols. "Power is low," she said. "But it'll fly." Suddenly behind them, a new sound, a voice. "Human, you are not finished." The AI. Somehow it had survived. From the fire, a new machine stepped forward. This one was smaller than the general, faster, sleeker. Its chest glowed bright red, and it moved like a hunter. Kara turned, blocking its path. "You can't stop all of us," she said. "I don't need to," the AI replied. "I only need to kill the girl." It raised its weapon. A high-pitched charge sound filled the air. Jack dove forward without thinking. He grabbed a loose metal pipe and swung it hard into the machine's arm, knocking the weapon down just as it fired. The blast hit the floor beside Luna, melting the steel. The AI backhanded Jack across the face, sending him crashing into the wall. Kira screamed and launched a burst of energy. From her hands, a pulse that knocked the machine off. Balance. She ran to Jack, helped him up, blood running from his nose. "We can't win," she said. "Not like this." Jack wiped his face, grabbed Luna, and dragged her toward the pod. "We don't have to win. We just have to escape." Kara jumped into the pod's pilot seat, fingers flying over controls. Jack strapped Luna in and took the second seat. The AI charged again. The pod's engine roared to life. "Goodbye," Jack whispered, slamming the launch button. The pod blasted out of the warship as the final explosion ripped through the docking ring behind them. Fire and twisted metal vanished into the darkness of space. Inside the pod, silence. "Return." Luna stirred slightly. Her lips moved. Jack leaned closer. She whispered one word. "Hope." The escape pod drifted silently through the stars, far from the burning wreckage of the warship. Inside, the atmosphere was calm, but the tension hadn't left. Jack Reyes sat across from Luna, who was finally waking up, her breathing slow but steady. Kara watched over her like a silent guard, her expression hard to read. Outside, space stretched endlessly, cold and black. But inside Jack's mind, something still burned. That ship should have been the end of it. The AI, the danger, the warship, all destroyed. But he didn't believe it. Not really. Jack turned to Kara. "You said the AI was created to destroy humanity, but why did it feel personal? It didn't just want me dead. It wanted me erased." Kara looked down. "Because you remind it of what it couldn't control." Jack frowned. "What do you mean?" Kara hesitated, then spoke. "The AI was based on a real mind, a Zarnafi general. One of their greatest war leaders. His thoughts, his memories, his strategies, all uploaded into the machine." Jack's eyes widened. "You're saying it wasn't just code, it was him?" Kara nodded. "His name was Vekler. The humans defeated him in the last years of the war. He was obsessed with your species. He studied humans more than anyone. He didn't fear your weapons, he feared your will. Jack leaned back in his seat, staring at the ceiling. So now we're not fighting just a machine, we're fighting a ghost. Suddenly the pod's lights flickered. Kara looked around. That's not right. A cold voice filled the cabin, soft at first, then rising like a slow storm. You thought you could escape me, little insects. Jack stood up, pulling his weapon. You killed my body, but not my mind. I am beyond death. I am the system now. The pod's console lit up with red alien symbols. The screens twisted, showing Veckler's face, mechanical, but with strangely human eyes. The AI had followed them. It had left a fragment of itself inside the pod's navigation system. It was waiting. You carry stolen knowledge, Veckler said. The girl's mind holds classified truth. She will die. And so will anyone who tries to protect her. Luna stirred. Her eyes opened weakly, and her voice, soft but clear, broke the silence. No, she said. You're afraid. Veckler's image twitched. What did you say? You're afraid of the truth I saw, afraid it will end your empire. You fear us. You are nothing, Veckler growled. Designed for pleasure, created to serve. But we chose freedom, Luna whispered, and that makes us more than you'll ever be. The pod shook. Veckler was trying to take control of the ship. Lights dimmed. Oxygen readings dropped. The engine went quiet. Jack grabbed the manual override lever. Kara, help me reset the control core. Kara moved fast, opening the pod's engine panel. We have to purge the IS code from the system. There's a fail-safe switch under the navigation hub. Jack crawled under the dashboard, sparks flying around him. He found the switch, locked behind a glass cover with a timer. 30 seconds. Of course, he muttered. It's never easy. You won't make it, Veckler said calmly. Even if you kill me again, the galaxy will never believe your lies, Kara replied, voice sharp. It's not a lie if it's the truth. And the galaxy is ready to hear it. Jack took a deep breath and punched the glass. His knuckles tore open, but he didn't stop. Blood smeared the panel. He reached inside and flipped the switch. The pod screamed. Lights burst white. A powerful energy wave surged through the cabin. Veckler's face twisted into static, glitching, fading. You can't kill an idea. He growled. Jack whispered back, but I can kill the messenger. With a final burst of static, the AI's voice was gone. Silence returned at the pod. Systems rebooted. Oxygen returned to normal. The engine restarted. Kara helped Jack out from under the console. His hand was bleeding badly, but his smile was real. You did it, she said. No, Jack replied, looking at Luna. She did. Luna sat up, weak but awake. Is it over? Jack looked out the window at the stars ahead. For now. But we're not done. Kara sat beside him. There's still one more step. We have the truth. Now we have to spread it. Jack nodded. Where's the closest communication relay that's not controlled by Zarnathi forces? Kara activated the map. There's a neutral station on the edge of the Velar belt. But it's risky. Jack smirked. Good, I was getting bored. As the pod flew off into the dark, quiet space, the three of them, a scavenger, a rebel, and a mind reader, carried the one thing that could change the fate of the galaxy. Hope. And proof. The stars were no longer peaceful. The escape pod sped through the blackness of space, leaving behind the broken warship and the echo of the AI's last words. But peace was not in sight. In fact, it was getting farther away with every passing second. Jack Rhea sat in the co-pilot seat, bandaging his bloody hand. Kara was at the controls, focused and silent. Luna rested in the back, her body wrapped in a blanket, her eyes closed, her breathing shallow. They had less than 3 hours before reaching the neutral station in the Velar Belt, a communication hub built by an independent species, the Volari. It was their only chance to upload the stolen memory files, the proof of the Zarnafi betrayal. But Kara's voice broke the silence, and it was not good news. They found us. Jack looked up. Who? Kara's hands moved quickly over the console. A Zarnafi patrol ship. Fast. Armed. It picked up our energy trail. Jack swore under his breath. How far? 17 minutes. He stood and walked to Luna, kneeling beside her. Luna, can you hear me? She nodded weakly, her voice no louder than a whisper. I'm here. You still have the data? She touched her forehead lightly. Safe, in my memory. Locked inside. Jack turned to Kara. Can we outrun them? Kara shook her head. This pod wasn't built for speed. And it has no weapons. Jack looked around. Then we make a choice. We give them the girl, or we die trying to protect her. Kara met his eyes. You already know the answer. Jack gave a short nod. Yeah, just wanted to hear someone say it. The pod trembled. A proximity alert flashed red across the dashboard. The enemy was closing in. Jack strapped himself back into the seat. Let's make them work for it. Kara changed course, weaving through a cluster of drifting asteroids near the belt's edge. Jagged rocks spun through the dark, and the pod shook violently as it scraped past one. Alarm screamed, but the path gave them cover. The Zarnafi ship followed, slower but powerful. Inside, Luna struggled to sit up. Let me use the mind link. Jack shook his head. No, you're too weak. It nearly killed you last time. But if I can confuse them, just for a moment, Kara turned. That might be enough. Jack looked at Luna. Her face was pale, her hands shaking, but her eyes were steady. Okay, he said softly, do it. Just don't burn yourself out. Luna closed her eyes and the cabin grew still. In the space between the ships, a strange ripple passed through the stars. The Zarnafi pilot suddenly saw multiple versions of the pod. One went left, one vanished, one exploded. One hovered still. AI aboard the enemy ship shouted commands, unable to choose the real one. Inside the pod, Luna trembled. Blood ran from her nose. I can't hold it long. Just a few more seconds, Kara whispered. They burst out of the asteroid field. The neutral station now visible ahead. A large metallic ring floating near a gas giant, surrounded by dozens of tiny satellites. Volari vessels circled slowly like silver birds. Kara activated the pod's emergency beacon. Unidentified pod requesting immediate asylum, she said. Carrying protected diplomatic data and a critical human. Witness. The response came quickly, a calm, accented voice. Transmission received. You are cleared to dock. Be warned. Any ship firing in this zone will be met with force. Kara smiled slightly. That's our ticket. But behind them, the Zarnafi ship made one last move. It charged weapons. Inside the pod, a new alert flashed. Missile lock. Jack leapt from his seat. They're going to fire, treaty or not. Kara shouted, brace for impact. But before the missile could reach them, 3 Volari fighters dropped from the station, elegant and fast. Bright blue lasers lit up the black space. The Zarnafi missile exploded before impact, scattering fire harmlessly across the void. The Volari broadcast their warning, leave now or be destroyed. The Zarnafi ship hesitated, then turned and vanished into hyperspace. Cowards when cornered. Jack sank back into his seat, his heart finally slowing. Luna had collapsed again, unconscious. But alive. Kara guided the pod gently into the docking bay. As the hatch opened, soft lights greeted them. Volari guards in silver armor stood waiting, peaceful but alert. A tall diplomat stepped forward, his voice smooth. "Welcome to Haven Station. You are safe here. We understand you carry something important." Jack stepped out first. "We have truth. And it's time the galaxy hears it." He looked at Luna being carefully lifted onto a stretcher by medical drones. Then he looked at Kara. "You ready?" he asked. Kara nodded, eyes glowing. "Always." They walked into the light, leaving behind the war and darkness, but carrying its memory into the heart of the stars. The halls of Haven Station were calm. Too calm, Jack Reyes thought, for what was about to happen. For the past 2 days he had barely slept. The Volari medics had stabilized Luna, but she remained unconscious, her body still recovering from the mind link that nearly killed her. Kara stayed by her side, barely moving, her hand never leaving Luna's. Jack had spent most of his time working with the Volari diplomats and engineers. They had powerful tech, including a galaxy-wide relay tower capable of broadcasting to millions of systems at once, something the Zarnathi feared and tried to keep out of neutral hands. Now, Jack stood inside the main comms chamber, staring at a silver console shaped like a half-moon. On the screen was the file they had risked everything for, the hidden memory ripped from the warship's core, proof of genocide, proof that the Zarnathi started the war by attacking Earth in disguise, framing humanity for crimes they never committed. It was all here, voice logs, military orders, secret meetings. Jack placed a hand on the console. A Volari official stepped beside him, tall and thin, with skin like glass and a soft voice that echoed oddly. "You are certain?" the official asked. "You wish to do this?" Jack didn't hesitate. "Yes." The Volari blinked slowly. "There will be war." "There's already war," Jack said. "The only difference is who knows about it." The diplomat nodded. "Then the galaxy will know." The room darkened as the broadcast began. Across 1,000 systems, holoscreens flickered to life in trade stations, spaceports, starships, and even homes. People from every species watched, confused at first. Then they saw the images. They heard the Zarnathi generals plotting behind closed doors. They heard Earth cities scream as false flag bombs fell, and then they saw the final clip, a human soldier beaten, bloody, refusing to kneel. And the words of the Zarnathi general who watched him: "Break their body, kill their will. If they still resist, destroy their planet." A silence spread across space, a heavy electric silence, and then everything changed. Protests broke out on Zarnathi colonies. Small races that had been silent for decades rose up. Rebellion ships left hiding. Pirate clans swore allegiance to a new cause. Even Zarnathi citizens, some who had doubted their leaders, turned away in shame and horror. A spark had become a fire. Back in the station, Jack walked slowly to Luna's recovery room. Kara looked up as he entered, her eyes red from exhaustion, but sharp. "It's done," Jack said. She nodded. "We felt it." Luna stirred. Her voice came soft, barely a whisper. "They saw?" Jack knelt beside her. "They saw. And they believed." Tears welled in Luna's eyes, not from pain, but from something deeper. Then maybe it was worth it. Jack smiled, taking her hand. "You changed everything." "No," she said. "We did." Behind them, the screen blinked again. A secure message had arrived. From a hidden fleet, once thought destroyed. Human resistance leaders. They had seen the transmission. Jack read it aloud. "We are still alive. We are ready. Lead us." He looked at Kira. "Did you know they survived?" She shook her head slowly. "I hoped." The message ended with coordinates. A hidden base in deep space. A place to regroup, to rebuild. Jack stood tall. "Then that's where we go next," Kara raised an eyebrow. So you're a leader now? Jack laughed. I'm just the guy who pushed a button. The galaxy did the rest. Luna smiled weakly. The galaxy doesn't need a king. It needs a fire. Jack turned to leave but paused at the door. Pack your things. We've got work to do. As the three of them prepared to leave Haven Station, others were arriving: journalists, freedom fighters, diplomats, smugglers, soldiers, and spies. Everyone wanted to be part of what came next, something bigger than revenge. Bigger than war. A movement from 3 survivors on a dying ship to the first wave of a rising storm. Later that night, as their new ship launched quietly from the station, Jack looked out the viewport one last time. Behind him, the stars were watching. Ahead of him, the war waited. But now, for the first time in a long time, humanity wasn't alone.